Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? Be one of the first to receive it. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this morning's video, if you will. It's 12:23 a.m. Just getting off work. Been at work since about 3:30. So it wasn't, too terribly long. I didn't do the morning shift this morning, so, I just worked the evening shift, if you will, and just getting off. So I say, as usual, I jump on YouTube, give y'all this action, this heat, if you will. I put a short video up earlier in the day, and basically I posed a question to people. So for you all that didn't see it, I'll pose the question again to you. If you were accused of a crime, and this crime was a felony, and you had no knowledge, I'm not going to say what specific crime it is, just it was a serious crime, it's a felony. If you were to go to trial, you'd be facing 30 years. If you didn't go to trial and you went on and took the plea deal, served 90 days in a county jail, plead guilty to a felony, and you'll be on probation for 5 years. So I posed that question of how many people would actually accept that. Now, when I say how many people would actually accept that, meaning how many people, knowing that they were innocent, knowing that these charges, allegations, are completely false, would roll the dice and go to trial. In addition, you don't really have any money, so you're using a court-appointed attorney. Now, for you all that don't understand a court-appointed attorney, sure, you know what it is, but have you ever actually had to have one? I guess that's a rhetorical question, because I'm saying for you all that don't understand it, then obviously you've never had to have one. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, a court-appointed attorney, especially when you're incarcerated, you may go months without seeing or hearing from your attorney. Typically, that's what happens. Then they show up at your court date, and they have so many different files as far as other cases that they're dealing with. They're not familiar with you, your case. They're looking over your case, and they're, just trying to familiarize themselves with the case right there in front of you in like 5 minutes. So you looking at this attorney like, this is the person that I'm going to trust my life with? This is the individual that's going to take me to trial that I never even get to talk to? He's never even heard my side of the story, my version. He doesn't know anything other than what he has in his little manila envelope that he carries around. Y'all know about them manila envelopes. He carries around manila envelopes with, different people's names on them that he's representing. Now, I understand district attorneys, or not district attorneys, court-appointed attorneys, they're overwhelmed. They're overworked. Probably overwhelmed at times. Those that care. But their main objective is to get you to plead guilty. That's pretty much what it is. Now, you have some every once in a while that come along because they are looking to eventually start their own law firm, go out on their own. But the majority of them that I've seen, and it's just my opinion, they're just trying to get you to plead guilty and get on to the next case. So you're looking at this court-appointed attorney, and it's like, I know I didn't do anything, but do I want to risk going to trial? Knowing that they'll give me a trial tax. A trial tax is, let's just say they offer you 10 years. But you go to trial and you lose, you blow trial, and now they're going to tax you. Okay, you had an opportunity to take his 10 years, but you didn't take it. So the prosecutor could ask for the max. Typically, they're going to ask, it depends on who you are, to be honest, and what your criminal record is and what the charges are. Prosecutor could ask for the max, or they could, knowing that they offered you a 10-year sentence and knowing that you could get up to 30, they may ask the jury, excuse me, they may recommend 20 years to the jury, 18, 19. But still, even if you got the minimum of 10 years, 12 years, you could have taken 90 days, been home with your family. I had mixed emotions. Now, when I say mixed emotions, not from me, but, the people in the comments, some were saying, man, you got to go on and take the 90 days. Those are the people that probably have been in that situation or seen someone or just know how the justice system works, if you will. Then you had some saying, you didn't do anything, why would you plead guilty? I don't care how many years I was facing. If I didn't do anything, I'm not pleading guilty. Interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. As I was mentioning previously, if you don't have any money, you're going to have to get a court-appointed attorney, as we've already established. We established that. But what I failed to mention this, an attorney in Kentucky, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, where I'm at anyway, $5,000 right off top. Felony case, they want $5,000. Some will work with you, but most of them, they want the whole $5,000. If they don't get the whole, they may take $25 now, and by the next court date or the, couple weeks or whatever, they need their other half. Understandably. However, that $5,000 is just to get you some sort of plea deal or possibly get it dismissed, which it rarely happens as far as a case being dismissed. So once it's time to go to trial, if you decide to go to trial with it, they want another 10, 15. Just depends on what the case is. You're going to struggle just to pay them $5,000. So you mean to tell me I got to come up with another $10,000 if I want to go to trial? Well, if I can't pay you this $10,000, guess what? The attorney's going to withdraw from the case. Now I'm going to be appointed an attorney, a court-appointed attorney that I have to go to trial with. So now that we're back up to speed, because I failed to mention that, So I failed to mention that. So I had to go around and loop it and make everything, one of my favorite words, I like to correlate. So now you're faced with this difficult decision. And I'm going to throw another twist. A lot of times people are incarcerated. But we're going to say, this particular time the judge was feeling, the judge had a heart and allowed you to get out on bond. A relatively low bond that you could handle. See, in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, we don't have a bail bondsman. Bail bondsman, for you all that don't know, they'll come and bail you out of jail. So say your bond is $10,000. You have somebody take them $1,000, 10%. Whatever your bond is, take them 10%. They keep that money. They'll bond you out. They're responsible, basically, for making sure that you make it back to court. In Kentucky, we don't have a bail bondsman. A lot of other places, whatever your bond is, it's an automatic 10%. If your bond is $10,000, it's $1,000 to get you out. Not here. You better have a nice attorney that's going to go to court and speak for you on your behalf, and you may get a 10% bond. They may 20% it. They may 50%. It just depends on the judge and how that judge is feeling. It depends on you and your record and the attorney. So you have to fight for a 10% bond. Property bonds, You don't get those right off top here. It's going to take you a few months in court. You're going to have to go through the process, going through district court. District court is where you initially charged, then you see the judge and you get arraigned, and then you have a couple other court dates, and then they waive it to the grand jury, which is called getting indicted, because once they waive it to the grand jury, you're going to be indicted in most cases. So during that time, they have 60 days to indict you. So you may sit in the county jail for 60 days waiting to be indicted. Once you get up to circuit court, you're indicted. Now you're in circuit court and you see the judge. Now you can ask for a property bond. And they may give it to you and they may not. Now, things may have changed. So anybody from Kentucky, you're seeing this and no, that's not accurate. Okay, I haven't been in the system in a while. So as far as being incarcerated in a while and having to go through the whole bond process. But then that's how it was. Could be different now, but that's how it was. But at any rate, just want to make sure that you all fully understand everything that I'm saying. So when I paint this picture and you can put yourself in this predicament, you're not uncertain or unclear on anything that I've stated. So you're sitting there and you're out. As I mentioned, the judge allows you to get out on bond, and you're contemplating what you want to do. You're going back and forth to court. You're having different hearings. You're having suppression hearings. A suppression hearing is basically whatever evidence that they so-called have against you. You're trying to have that thrown out. You're unsuccessful at that. They're offering you different plea deals. But every plea deal that they're offering you, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. And here it is, you're totally innocent, but you can't say anything. The only person you can speak to is your attorney. You can tell your attorney all day, every day, I'm innocent. That attorney can't do anything for you as far as you being innocent. Yeah, they can represent you in court. But remember, we're dealing with a court-appointed attorney. It's kind of like you feel helpless. You know that you didn't have anything to do with this. Now, some people would say, well, real Kens, I mean, that may not be a typical real life situation. It definitely is. I'm not reaching at all. This happens every day. Everywhere this happens. People are falsely accused, or they may have done something relatively small, but then they get charged, accused of something else that's way above what they should be charged with. That happens so much. And it's a shame that they're allowed to do that. But they do it. So here you are. You haven't had a criminal history. You don't have a criminal record. You have this attorney, legal aid. That's what we call them here, legal aids. Court-appointed attorney, legal aids, whichever way you want to reference them, if you will. Telling you that you should plead guilty. You should plead guilty. You're trying to express, I didn't do that. Do you understand that if you go to trial, they can give you 30 years? That's what the attorney's saying to you. You're sitting there like, whoa, 30 years, man. I can't go do any, 30 years. So every time you go to court, it's something different. They come back. Hey, I tell you what, the prosecutor said this. That's what the prosecutor said. Only if you plead guilty today, serve 90 days in the county jail. We're going to probate you, which means we'll give you probation over the course of 5 years. If you mess up within this 5-year window, 60 months, you have to go back and do 5 years. They love to do that here. 5 for 5 is what they call it. Put you on probation for 5 years. If you mess up, you're going to serve 5 years. And they want you to serve 90 days initially. Well, you don't want to go and serve 90 days. And you definitely don't want to have 5 years on the shelf hanging over your head. But do I want to risk and roll the dice going to trial and possibly get 30? Possibly get 20? I know I didn't do it. But I have kids at home. I have responsibilities. It's terrible that I find myself in this situation, but I'm in this situation. So, I mean, I have to think about my family. I have to think about, I have a, let's just say, elderly mother, father, grandparents, people that really rely on you to be there, to help take care of them. Not just financially, but, just helping out with them, emotionally, mentally, like just being there. Don't want to risk all of that when I could just go do 90 days and be back home. Yeah, it sucks that I have to plead guilty to a felony for something that I totally didn't do. And this attorney, I rarely even talk to him, her. I'm seeing you don't barely even know my name. You get my name mixed up. You get my case mixed up. You don't know the intricacies of my case. We haven't really sit down and really, really gone over my case other than, 15, 20 minutes at a time. So I'm supposed to trust you? Nah, I got to take my life in my own hand right here. I got to think about myself and my family. My family first. But it never ceases to amaze me that you have these weirdos that always want to jump in the comments. Well, if you didn't do anything, real Kens, then you shouldn't plead guilty. Yeah, it's easy to say that. It's very easy to say that. Until you in that situation. Until you in that courtroom. Until you looking at that judge that sits high. And will determine or be a determining factor as far as if you go home or if you don't go home. And if you don't go home, how long of a sentence you will serve before you have an opportunity to go home. So it's very, very easy. If you've never been in this situation, it's very easy to say that. If you didn't do anything, you shouldn't plead guilty. Yeah, okay. A lot of people have said, only God can judge me. And that's ultimately true. That's ultimately true. I fear no man but God. That's ultimately true. But when you facing Johnny Law, and I'm not trying to in any way compare the law to God or whatever higher power you all may look to and believe in. But at the same time, man, it's not a joke when you're dealing with them people, man. It's not a joke. Who wants to gamble, put their life in the hands of 12 strangers? You don't know these people. They don't know you. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to testify. You're never going to be able to really tell your story. So they're going to just judge by basically what your attorney's saying. Your attorney that you've only spent maybe a total of 2 hours in the course of 15 months while you've been out fighting this case, you all have sit down for a total of maybe 2 hours discussing your case. And this is the person you're going to put your life in this person's hands? Very difficult thing to do. Very, very difficult thing to do. So the point of me making this video is that, because I try to have a message in every video that I make. if you're in a position of power, hell, even if you're not in position of power, don't be so quick to judge people based on their criminal background. Because you never know what that person endured. You never know uh, the ins and outs, the circumstances of their case. Now, the reason I initially said position of power, let's just say you own a company or you're the person that determines if that person will be hired or not. But you look at the background, he's a felon, he's automatically disqualified. Is that really right? I understand life's not always right, but, you have some people that deserve another chance in life. See, we don't always get it right the first time. Most people don't get it right the first time. Not always going to get it right the second time. Sometimes it takes a few times to actually get it right. So as I mentioned, people jump in my comments and, you looking for a pity party? Nobody's looking for a pity party. We're stating facts. We're stating how things really, really are. Well, if you didn't do anything in the first place, then you wouldn't have. Listen, we're talking about a person that's totally innocent. Totally innocent. Didn't do anything to deserve this, but it happens. Does it happen often to where a person is totally innocent? No. I got to be real with you. It's not like 50% of the people that's incarcerated are innocent. You see what I'm saying? But being overcharged, that happens very often. They'll overcharge you in a heartbeat. And I've mentioned this in several of my other videos. They find ways to just add on felonies. See, a felony is only a felony if the prosecution wants to pursue it as a felony. Other than something that's just, blatantly a felony, shooting somebody in the face or robbing somebody, just doing something heinous. But if it's something that's, white collar, credit card fraud, theft, fleeing and evading, if it's something, prosecution has the power to easily say, you know what, the Commonwealth wishes to amend this down, misdemeanor, 1 year probation, 60 days to serve. If you should violate your probation. The Commonwealth has the ability to do that. So it really depends on what he or she, and when I say he or she, referring to the district attorney, decides they want to do. A person like me, if I catch a case, they done seen me so many times. I know what it is. I already know what it is. We got Mr. Real Kins back in court today. Ain't seen you in a while, Real Kins. They give me that sarcastic smirk. But hey, it's the bed it's the bed I must lay in. I made it, so I must lay in it. But it's not about Real Kins. It's about a totally innocent individual. So I want you to ask yourself and be real with yourself. Y'all share this video as well, because people need to see this, because it could happen to you. People always think, that it can't happen to them, and it definitely can. Would you, knowing that you're facing 30 years, you don't have a good attorney, you have a pretender, risk your life, 30 years, or just take his 90 days, take his felony conviction, and get on home to your family? Ask yourself. It's a heck of a scenario to be in, but it definitely happens. People have a tendency to say, the truth will come out. No, it won't. I don't know where you all get that from. Not dealing with Johnny Law. Yeah, it may come out in other scenarios and other situations. But dealing with Johnny Law, the truth doesn't always come out. Because who's going to tell the truth? You're not going to get on stands and talk. Who's going to tell the truth? It's not what you know, Jake. It's what you can prove. Huh? You think my guys are going to go against me, Jake? My man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? If you're not already subscribed, hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action, this heat, you'll be one of the first. Hold on. Let me rewind. Anytime I bring you this action, this heat, you'll be amongst one of the first to receive. Real Kens TV, man.